Hi guys, welcome back to another edition of Patrick's Malapropisms. A few months ago my father had to spend 4 figures on fixing his car, and not for good reasons, for rather stupid reasons. Some rat or mouse or something had gotten under his hood and started chewing on the wiring. That is not an unusual thing to happen. You may have heard of others having this issue. Squirrels getting underneath the hood and maybe even putting some of their nuts down there. Why does that happen? Well, not only is the engine bay tends to be warm, but the real issue is that since about the turn of the century, cars have been made with the wiring insulation is some derivative of soybeans. So not only is it warm, but it's got nummies. So I want to keep these critters out of my garage. How do I do this? Well, peppermint oil. It's non-toxic. You could drink it if you wanted to smell like a candy cane for a year. But it's available on our favorite retail places. And it comes with this handy schmancy spray head that I plug into the top of this, and around I go. Well, the malapropism kicks in because I don't want to do that. This stuff evaporates very quickly, within hours. It's great while it's there. My garage smells like a candy cane, and it doesn't have rats or mice in it, but I got to stay after it. Can't have that happening. So the malapropism kicked in when I wanted to make it automatic. Yes, I know. Here we go. My first thought was, well, can I have that tube siphon into a wood block and the wood block keep the flow down so it's not dripping or spilling onto the floor and emptying the bottle? I mean, the bottle's $35, so it's not cheap. You don't want it to go too quick. That didn't work. Because eventually the piece of wood just, gummed up and stopped letting the peppermint oil come through it. Iteration number 2 was, well, shoot, why don't I just go get an IV drip? That's what they're designed for, right? To actually regulate the flow of drips. And that worked for a couple of months. It really did. And then it, too, gummed up. I guess the oil here has just enough, here's a word, viscosity, that it slows things down. So I need to find a way to come up with a tubing that is both wide enough that it won't get gummed up, but won't dump the stuff on the floor of the garage and waste my money. So iteration number 3, I tried to avoid it, but I can't. It involves a home automation system. Yes, I know. What if I could find a tubing and a water control valve and then use the home automation system to open and close that valve when I need it to go? Just a couple times a day. Just a quick little injection on the floor of the garage and be done with it. So, let's begin the adventure. Hey folks, welcome to Arts and Crafts time. Next to me is my son Liam.
Hello.
And he's got some engineering he's got to do too. So he's going to do his engineering and I'm going to do mine. So let's talk about what our solution is. Well, it all centers around this. This is a water valve. It is 12 volt direct current. And powering that valve will be a 12 volt direct current adapter. I've already made this little rat tail here, and what this does is it just allows the 12 volt adapter to plug into the valve. Pretty straightforward stuff. So what happens now is when power is supplied to this valve opens. It's what we call a normally closed valve. When it's off, it's closed, which is what we want. We only want to turn it on for a few seconds to let the repellent through. I don't like calling it repellent. Let's just call it wonderful peppermint juice. Okay, let's do that. You want to call it wonderful peppermint juice?
Delicious.
Yes, all right. Yeah. It's intense. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to suspend the bottle from the ceiling, and I'm going to have a tube coming out of the top into the valve, and then another little bit of tube to the floor of the garage. And so when I set the rule up in the home automation system, it'll turn the valve on, allowing some of the wonderful peppermint juice to come flowing through, drip a bit on the garage floor, and then turn it back off again. That way I can precisely control how much wonderful peppermint juice is making it to the floor and keeping away the rats and mice and making my garage smell like a candy cane. Let's get started. As it turns out, the top of, this is the cap of the repellent bottle, happens to be the same diameter as the tube that I want to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to epoxy the tube to the top of this. I'm going to do this little tiny short thing here because the problem with epoxying the full hose is, well, what if I wanted to change the length of the hose? What if I wanted to move the hose to somewhere else? Well, now I've permanently attached it to the top of the repellent bottle. I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this little tiny short one, and then join it with one of these compression fittings to the longer hose so that I don't have to worry about it. And I'm actually having a thought right now, maybe I should have an auxiliary valve on there. I'm actually kind of designing this right here in front of you. I have the parts, I just haven't really refined my thinking yet. It's so me, it really is. Isn't it, Liam?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Too much of you.
Do you want to eat tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where we go.
Hello, folks. Just so you know what I'm doing, if you have a child that loves engineering and likes Legos, this might be for you. It's creator's Mark Robert, and it's called Crunch Labs. It's pretty fun. So each month you get this package of where you get this thing, and if you get a golden ticket, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, you get to meet Mark Robert and actually be on one of his videos, which I haven't won yet. But it's fun. I still have, like, I don't know how many months left.
I think you have 6 months left to the subscription.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it.
I know. You're all over that. All right. Got the assembly complete. Here's the bottle of the repellent. Siphon goes to this manual valve here because in case I need to move it or reprime the siphon, I don't, make a mess and suck out this precious liquid here. I have the 12-volt normally closed valve. This is a different valve than earlier in the video because that valve died during testing. So at least it did it quickly. I replaced it with this diaphragm valve, so hopefully it'll do a bit better job. And then I have the rest of the line here. So I will update you guys when I get this installed. Okay, at long last, it seems that I have successfully installed this thing. And it seems to be working just fine. Let me show you what it looks like. Alright, so the bottle's up high to make sure the siphon works. And there's that valve, the manual valve. It is open right now. This siphon's all primed. Tube runs down the wall to the valve. valve is plugged in over here with this on-off switch that's connected to the home automation system. And then tube continues along the wall, and then it sticks out. You see that? It launches, the idea is so that it launches the repellent. So let me do a quick little demo. Here it goes. It's going to be on for 5 seconds. There you go. Just spills a little. And the reason why I have it falling like that, the reason why I have it falling that distance instead of just going right onto the floor is I want it to spatter a little bit, because some of the spatter is going to evaporate faster than the thicker stuff. So it should immediately get this, and it does. It gets this room smelling like candy canes right away. And then the thicker stuff can take some time to evaporate. So there was some thinking behind why I wanted it to fall like that. So far so good. This was a much bigger malapropism than... Okay, it just ran on its own. I guess it's time. Yes, it is. It's 4 o'clock. So the routine just went twice. I didn't realize we were that close to the natural run of the routine. So now I have a double dose of the stuff on the floor. So this room is going to smell really good really soon. Yes, it is a chewing gum factory in here now. Anyway, this was a much bigger deal than it should have been. It should have been simple, but like any good malapropism, iterate. Oh my God, this is becoming huge. And I really tried to avoid the home automation system because I don't want to be beating that to death. But it's the only thing I can get to work properly around here. So another feather in the cap for the home automation system. I know. It limits some people to being able to use this idea. But this is what I got. This is what I got to work. I'm sorry. But I'm not having any rats chewing $2,000 worth of wires in my cars. Anyway, have a good one. That's it for this time. See you next time.